So right now, coming up on mid-February 2022, this is kind of what I've left. Everything else is out. I have some onions, which the bunching onions did good. The regular onions, I've never grown them before. I just kind of spread the seeds. I guess they didn't properly develop. I have some carrots and some parsnips. The carrots, I've never grown carrots before. I just sort of put seed everywhere and hope for the best. Some it looks like you're growing okay, some aren't. But let's see, let's pull a couple. Yeah, those are pretty small. That kind of stinks. There were a couple that I've picked that were pretty good, about 4 to 5 inches long, but a lot of them just nothing. So that kind of stinks. Live and learn. I think if they had more space, they would develop a lot better. Like for instance, here's one that's a little bit, that one's tiny. Here's one that's a little bit further from the other ones. That one's much bigger than the others. So I think I'll give these another couple weeks just because I have nothing else ready to go in, and then I'll just pull them all, and any that are worth eating I'll go ahead and save. So that's kind of where we're at with these right now. As for these parsnips, I don't really have a whole lot of them, but I did pull one and it was looking pretty good. So let's go ahead and pull another one here. There goes nothing. Ugh. Ugh. Things in there. Ugh. Ugh. Not bad. I'm thinking these might be about ready. Let's pull another one. Yeah, those ones are pretty small. They're too close together. See, much smaller. So it looks like the ones that are separated, I think I've just been planting all these root crops too close together. I need to show some restraint. Let's just do one more because I'm impatient. Ugh. There we go. This is a couple plants, so they might be small. Ugh. Yeah, kind of small. That's what we got. So I think I will give these and the carrots a little bit longer. And then whenever everything else is ready to go, these will all come out and we will have a new planting. Not only do I have my larger garden over there, on the other side of the property over here, I have this little 4 foot by 8 foot bed. And today I picked up some of these seed potatoes from Walmart, Yukon Gold. Just 5 little potatoes in each one. I think I might cut them in half I grew potatoes once before, decent luck. I cut them then. I guess I'll cut them again. But I feel like, you know, turning each one of these 5 potatoes into 10, so 20 total. Maybe do 2 rows of 10, maybe a couple in the middle here. Should work out. Hopefully we can get this entire bed filled out with some good vegetation. That would be pretty cool. So I will definitely make an updated video when I get these planted, maybe in another week or so. Friday, February 11th. Today it is time. These tomatoes are going in the ground. It's happening. They are way bigger than I thought they were going to be. They are already actually growing up past the lights, even after I moved them from this shelf to this shelf. And instead of just rebuilding the shelf for even taller spaces, the roots are, you can sort of see them. The roots are quite well developed. They're not bound, but these plants are looking quite healthy. That one's a little bit smaller. That is a black crim. But for instance, like this San Marzano, this is a healthy looking plant. It is nice and green. It's kind of leaning because it's going towards the light here. But yeah, all these plants are looking quite healthy. Large red cherry tomato. Oh, this is a very, very healthy looking plant. Nice and green. So I'm going to be out of town next weekend, so I just want to get these in the ground and on the irrigation, so that way we could go ahead and get some water to them. Some of these flowers, these calendulas especially, have grown very quickly. Some of them are quite large, so I'd like to get these in as well. Going to plant some sunflowers. The peppers, I'm going to start fertilizing them maybe twice a week indoors, and just wait since they're not as big. I think it's just too cool in my house. It's been in the upper 60s, low 70s in my house, so I think it's still a little bit cool for these guys. So I'm just going to continue to, well, kind of start to fertilize them and see how that goes. But today, the peppers go outside in the garden. So it's a beautiful day out here today. It's going to be a high of 70. It's 62 right now. Just going to plant a couple things. I'm going to do maybe a couple rows of tomatoes. I'm going to have to go get some cages. I found them at, I believe, Rural King. I want to say $2 a piece, which is pretty good. This method wasn't as good. I do have to say, using the stakes and just tying them up, not my favorite. I did the Florida weave before, and I definitely preferred that better. It was much simpler than this. So I'm going to dig a couple rows and see how many I could get. So I just counted my plants. This is a 15-foot section this way. You can see I have 5 tomato plants there. There's plenty of room to just walk in between them, no problem. I counted. I have 7 black crim, 7 San Marzano, I believe it is 5 large red cherry tomato, and 2 tomatillo. So I think I'm going to do 3 rows of 7. Do the black crim, San Marzano, and then the split row between the cherry tomatoes and the tomatillos. I think I'm going to put them right in the middle. So that is 2 rows done, the black crim and then the San Marzano. What I do is I just use this drip tape with these turnable row starts. That way I can turn them off or turn them on if I don't need water. I don't use it very often, but it is convenient to have. I just run this mainline drip from the spigot on my hose. I have the pressure reducer and the timer over there, so I don't even mess with it. It just waters automatically. I use these little goof plugs right here. Whenever you need to tear something up, they just come right out, and then you can pop a new one in. So it's pretty convenient. I think I have the 9-inch spacing holes, so you could use that for spacing, but realistically enough water comes out where you could pretty much plant wherever and it's not a big deal. So to go back to the reason why I'm planting these right now on February 11th is because I'm about to go out of town for just a few days, just a quick little trip, and then I'll be back. But I don't want them sitting in the cups getting dehydrated, because as it is with those fully developed roots, they would go through some water very quickly. I had to water them every day, sometimes twice a day, or else they would start to droop. You can see a couple of them are maybe even a little droopy as is. So they were going through a lot of water as is, and I would much rather have them out here on the automatic watering, just so that way I know that they will have their water when they need it, and I'm not going to have to ask a friend to come over and water my plants or anything like that. As for frost, I'm not too worried about it. It's warming up quite a bit. I'm kind of hot out here right now, honestly. Like a week from today, we're gonna have an 80-degree day, so it's definitely warming up. It says in the 7-day forecast there's gonna be one day down to 40, but usually this time of year it starts to warm up and the cold is kind of behind us. So kind of taking a risk here. If we get unlucky, we may get some sort of frost that'll just wipe everything out, but I doubt it. It's just the risk I'm willing to take. So I'm gonna go ahead and work and get the other one down, probably right there. I'm trying to plant them a little bit closer than I did last season. So break time, and then let's get to it. So the other day, just yesterday, I actually planted some Yukon Gold potatoes in this little 4x8 bed right on the other side. And speaking of these bugs, I think we got a couple doing the dirty. We've got 2 more over here that we're trying to fight them. So we had this guy and this guy trying to break those 2 apart. But yeah, so I still don't know what they are, but man, these things are everywhere. But anyway, I put 10 potatoes in here. I split them up, so I have 20 pieces. I just did kind of 3 rows. So those went in on February 10th. Let's hope they grow. So here they are planted. I have the black crim San Marzano. And then these first 4, I was wrong earlier, by the way. These first 4 are large red cherry tomatoes. And then these 3 are purple tomatillos. So that's sort of the middle of the garden taken care of. I'm going to go get some cages once these take root and sort of get over their transplant issues, and then we'll get you updated. So these have been running for a while, just getting them some water. I set the timer up so that it'll run every 6 hours. I give it 10 minutes of water every 6 hours. Just want to try to get these things all the water that they need in the beginning to get them nice and strong, get over the transplant shock. And then I had to go run a couple errands, and when I was running a couple errands, I come back and look what we got. The city dropped me off a nice present. They say it's 4 or 5 cubic yards of nice compost. So what I'm going to do is take all of this and fill in all of this area. And then maybe tomorrow do some work on the irrigation over that way. So, very cool. So I'm back at it on Sunday, February 13th. I took a break yesterday, came out today, and there are already 2 tomato plants that are dead. They're severed from the alley cats that roam. I don't know if they just come out here and beat them up or what they do, but I have already lost 2 plants in 2 days. They're perfectly healthy. One right there, one right there. Just, they were sitting out, laying on their side, completely dead. So they're chopped up. Here are all the parsnips and carrots. Not all of them, but we're getting there. Anyway, I'm going to be planting some beans. This is 1 pack. I have 2 packs of these beans. I think I'm going to do a row here and a row right here. Supposedly these are bush beans and are relatively compact. So I think I could sneak 2 in, 1 right here and 1 right next to it. I could grow them right next to each other, I'd imagine. So yeah, just use my rake and dug out a little furrow. This is where the parsnips were. And now we're going to have these calypso beans or orca beans or whatever it is people call them. Pretty excited to see them. They look super cool. Done deal. I did 1 row. There weren't enough beans to do 2 rows. So I just did the 1 row, planted them every 6 inches. It says every 6 to 9. So I just did 6, 1 at every emitter, and then just sort of spaced out the extras in there. So we'll see. Never grown those. I grew bush beans once before. Did okay. I grew pole beans and they went ridiculous last time. So these ones are super cool. Hopefully they work out. Over in that line right there, I just pulled up all my bunching onions. Some of them are regular onions that didn't develop, but they still seem to be exactly like the regular true bunching onions. Like for instance, this is one of the regular onions that didn't develop, and it smells just like a bunching onion. So I don't know what I'm going to do with all of this. This is a huge amount. Hopefully I could give some of it away. People could use it, because otherwise it is just going in the waste pile. I honestly don't know. I didn't know how much it was going to grow. So learning experience. Nowhere near that many bunching onions. Anyway, and that, where they were, sunflower seeds. I have these left. I gave the rest of them away to a family member who came over, younger kid, looking to, he was checking out all my stuff and he wanted to see what it was and he thought they were super cool. So I gave him the rest of the pack and just saved a couple for myself. So these are going to be the mammoth sunflowers. I grew them once over there in that back corner. They grew super tall and that was with 0 fertilization whatsoever. So hopefully this time, shooting some juice to them, I can get them much taller. So let's get these planted. Success. We are planted up right there between the carrots and the tomatoes. Probably room for something else right there where the rake is. As long as it's not too big, something that's kind of compact, we could put right there. Maybe a row of different type of flowers or some greens or something. That would be pretty cool. Maybe grow some lettuce or a row of carrots or something, because these sunflowers, the stalks get huge, but there's nothing on the ground and they don't take up a whole lot of space on the ground. They get big up top but nothing on the ground, so definitely walk underneath them. So pretty cool. Excited about that. All planted. I just used all about 20 seeds in the 15-foot row. So that's kind of where we are for now. I just realized I'm just pointing the camera talking and I could just show my face on here, so might as well. Anyway, if you've been watching these, leave a comment. What do you think? Are we making progress? Are we not? I've never really uploaded videos before like this, so figured it'd be fun. Wanted to learn how to edit, wanted to learn how to do all that. So I don't know, what do you think? Thoughts on everything? Leave a comment if you've been watching. I don't know if anybody really is. I know they're getting a handful of views, but that's about it. So got to work this week on taking a trip, so I will be back at some point. I'll try to get this video up from what happened this weekend and be back, maybe not next weekend, but the one after that possibly. So hopefully we have some sprouts.